My mom and dad did not come to my wedding because I married before my flawless sister. Now their idea of a perfect family is breaking down. After 4 years together, I, a 32-year-old woman, got married 8 months ago. Everyone came to the wedding except my sister Molin, a 30-year-old woman, and my parents. My mom and dad choosing not to come was surprising, but I was not very shocked that my sister didn't show up because we have never been close. Still, thinking about our past, I should have expected it. I will tell you about how our family works. I cannot fully blame my mom and dad for always liking my sister more than me. Her whole life, she has been very good at nearly everything. When she entered any room, all eyes were on her. As soon as she could walk, she won every spelling bee, science fair, and talent show in grade school. In high school, she was class leader, top student, and dance queen, just like before. She was tall, slim, and pretty. She tried modeling in college before focusing on her business degree. She got her first modeling job in her second year of college. I still recall how my parents celebrated. They threw a big party with all our relatives and her friends. They put her first professional photo in a frame and hung it in our living room. It stays there today, right over the fireplace. That same year, I got my computer science degree. They just said, "Good job," softly, and went back to planning Molin's next photo shoot. After finishing school, she quickly moved up at work. She got a job at a well-known company. By age 30, she has a big office and a company car. She is now a top boss. Meanwhile, I work at a good computer company as a middle-level software writer. I like my job and it is a fine work, but it is not the kind that makes parents brag to relatives. Also, I am heavier and shorter than my sister. My mother said mean things about how I look. She made me join exercise classes I did not want and always put me on diets. When I was young, she would say, "Molin never has trouble with her weight," or "You could look as pretty as your sister if you just tried harder." Even though I learned to tune out these words by high school, they hurt me. Over time, I accepted these differences. I finally faced the truth that my parents never felt as happy about my wins as they did about Molin's. What could I do? For years, I tried to win their praise. I took classes they wanted, joined clubs they pushed, and even tried modeling briefly. It did not work, and my sister never lets me forget it. But nothing I did was enough. I was just the second daughter, and they only loved my sister's successes. I stopped trying to impress them in my mid-20s. I focused on building my own life, growing my career my way, and making friends who liked me for me. Honestly, life got better after that. I knew my parents always cared about looking good to others, so I kept our talks shallow. To avoid fights at Christmas and family events, I would smile and nod while they praised Molin's latest job, boyfriend, or trip. Since they had Molin to fawn over, they didn't seem to see how distant I felt. Then, at a computer event, I met my husband through a shared friend. He saw me. Truly saw me. Unlike my family, he liked my quiet humor, my coding skills, and even my body shape. From the start, he never told me to change or compared me to others. After 4 years of dating, he proposed to me at home. We were eating takeout and watching our favorite show. It was perfect. Of course, I told my parents I was engaged last year. Their reaction should have warned me. There were no happy words, just silence. My mother asked if I was sure I wanted to rush into marriage. She suggested I should get in better shape before the wedding. My father barely spoke. At the engagement party, my husband noticed their strange behavior. I was too nervous to understand it then. They huddled over my mother's phone in a corner most of the night. Later, my husband told me he heard them talking to Molin on the phone. She was crying. They said this was not the plan and that they never thought Rebecca would marry first. From what he faintly heard, there were small problems with wedding plans. Even though Molin was not even engaged, my mother had already made many wedding idea pages online for her. She did not want to help me pick a dress or a place for my wedding. When I chose my dress, a simple but lovely A-line gown that made me feel beautiful, my mother only said it was practical and fit my body. My future mother-in-law, who treated me like her own daughter, and I planned most of the wedding together.
My husband and I checked the guest list twice to make sure no one was left out. We sent wedding invites by email and mail. I know my parents got theirs because the email showed they opened them. After I saw they did not reply, I called, texted, and emailed them many times. They ignored me or gave vague answers, saying they were busy and had to check their calendars. I could not spend much time worrying about this because I was busy planning the wedding. My husband's parents were very helpful. They offered to help with seating plans and flowers. At the nice bridal shower my husband's sister threw, no one mentioned the sad fact that my family was not there. Even without my parents, the wedding day was lovely. We had a calm afternoon party in a garden after the morning ceremony. People were right when they said we looked happy and in love. But sometimes their not being there hurt deeply, like seeing the front seats empty or missing the father-daughter dance. After the honeymoon, I wanted answers. When I finally reached them on the phone, they said they were very upset because they never got a real invite. My mother started a long speech about how careless I was. She said she always wanted to help plan her daughter's weddings and could not understand why I left them out of such a big day. This confused me because I knew we sent them both types of invites. During the call, I checked our records and saw we had sent them. The mail invites were even marked as delivered. I did not argue with them about trying to make me doubt myself. I just said I was sorry for the mistake and ended the call. Later, my husband pointed out several things that showed their real plans. For example, they looked surprised, not happy, when we said we were engaged. They kept finding excuses not to help with wedding plans. He did not mention these things before because he did not want to make me more stressed. Looking back, the pattern was obvious. The thought that I, the less successful daughter, was marrying before their favorite Moylin was too hard for them to accept. Their actions just proved what I always feared but refused to believe. I could never win against my sister in their eyes. The saddest part was realizing that even my wedding day, which should have been about love and new beginnings, became another battle in their endless fight to keep their perfect family image with Moylin at the center. Moylin recently got engaged to a man she dated for a year. Family members told me that in family group chats I do not join, my parents openly talk about how excited they are to plan a fancy wedding for her. They are already bragging about booking fancy places and expensive dresses. My mother is taking Moylin to private dress fittings at high-end stores, all the mother-daughter time I never got. It's interesting that many relatives now refuse to go to Moylin's wedding and engagement party. My parents' actions at my wedding became a family discussion topic. When relatives ask why my parents skipped my wedding,
I just tell the truth. They could not handle me marrying before their favorite daughter. I share the facts as I see them, without adding extra details or seeking pity. My parents contacted me a few days ago and accused me of trying to ruin Moylin's wedding on purpose. They say relatives are making excuses to skip her wedding events. My cousin, whom my sister complained to, told her people do not want to come because they heard how my parents treated me. My parents say I am jealous of Moylin's big wedding and spreading lies. But I am only telling people what really happened. Maybe they should look at their own actions instead of blaming me. If the truth makes them look bad, that is not my fault. As things change, it is getting harder for me to pretend I have a good relationship with my parents. What they did at my wedding showed me I will never be good enough for them no matter what. Their skipping my wedding is not the hardest part now. The hardest part is accepting that I never had the loving, supportive parents I wanted. I am focusing on building a life with someone who truly values me for who I am. I will share updates if anything big happens. First update. A lot has happened in the 2 weeks since my last post. I finally decided to talk to my parents in person about skipping my wedding and blaming me for ruining my sister's big day. After reading your kind comments, I felt it was time to be honest. This started when they texted me about our family's damaged reputation. On the phone, my parents quickly accused me of being jealous of Moylin and planning everything. I did something new. I agreed with them, but not how they expected. Instead of defending myself like usual, I said, "You are right. I am jealous. Not of Moylin's job, not her wins, not her looks. I am jealous of the steady love and support you gave her, which you never tried to give me." There was silence. Then my mother said I was exaggerating and that they always treated us the same. At that moment, something inside me snapped. Years of hidden feelings poured out. I told them about every birthday where Moylin's latest news overshadowed my achievements. How when Moylin had a modeling tryout, my mother canceled my high school graduation dinner. How her prom dress cost more than all my college books for a year. I kept going even when my father tried to stop me by saying I was lying. I told them what it was like to see them plan my sister's imaginary wedding for years while ignoring mine. I told them how much it hurt to see their seats empty and how my mother-in-law helped me with everything from planning to dress shopping. Their reaction was telling. They turned it on me instead of listening. "Why didn't you say something if you felt this way?" they asked, as if I had not tried to talk to them for years. My mother insisted. My father added that by telling family how I felt, I was being unfair and mean. Then my mother said something that finally made everything clear. "We never thought you would be so mean as to ruin Moylin's wedding out of anger," she said. "But we always knew you felt bad about her success. This is not how we raised you."
I realized they couldn't even hear me. They thought their actions and my feelings had nothing to do with the situation. It was all about Moylan's reaction. They cared more about her upcoming wedding than the pain they caused me, even while talking about skipping my wedding.
For the first time, I did not try to fix things. I did not take back my words or say sorry. Instead, I told them directly, "You are right about one thing. You raised me. You taught me I would never be good enough, that Molin's wins always mattered more than mine, that keeping your perfect family image was more important than my feelings. But you also taught me I deserve better than this, even though you did not mean to." Before my father spoke, there was a long silence. He said calmly, "Maybe we should stop pretending we are bad parents, since you have already decided we are, and you clearly enjoy watching us suffer. Since we are family, we thought you would help fix this problem, but it is clear you have made your choice." The final blow came from my mother. "Maybe you just could not stand not being the center of attention. We always tried to treat you both fairly, Rebecca. That is not our fault. You chose to act like a victim." I did not argue. Why bother? They had just proven everything I said was true. They could not admit any fault, even now. I just hung up and said goodbye. I was surprised to feel relieved after the call. I cried, yes, but not the desperate, painful tears from my childhood. These tears felt freeing. For the first time, I said everything I needed to say without holding back or feeling bad about my feelings. Later, my husband found me watching the sunset from our porch. He sat beside me and held my hand quietly. "They're never going to change, are they?" I asked after a while. "No," he said, squeezing my hand. "But you have. That is what matters." He is right. I have changed. The little girl who desperately wanted her parents' approval is gone. The woman from that last talk does not need their approval anymore. Accepting that my parents will never be the parents I need hurts, but not as much as hoping they would change. For the first time, I do not care about my sister's wedding or the family fights. I have spoken my mind, and now they must face what happens. The strangest part is, I feel like a weight I carried all my life is finally gone. It is not the happy ending I wanted with my parents, but maybe it is the ending I needed. The power to stop chasing love that should have been easy. Second update. 3 days have passed since my talk with our parents, and things took a surprising turn. Molin decided to join the drama, but her plan failed badly. My sister sent me a carefully written message yesterday morning. She has become patronizing over the years, and it showed in her text. "What you said to our parents was completely wrong. They helped us our whole lives and gave us everything. You cannot just call them bad parents because you feel bad about your life choices." She went on with her usual mix of acting better than me and hidden insults. "I know your wedding was not what you wanted, but that does not mean you should ruin mine. There is nothing wrong with wanting a party that honors those of us who work hard to meet high standards, Rebecca. Not everything is a competition." I did not reply. I have learned that talking to her just gives her more fuel. After years of her tricks, I just blocked her number. Moylan hates being ignored, so I thought that was the end. A few hours later, my husband called me at work, laughing too hard to talk. Moylan could not reach me, so she found his private number, probably through a mutual friend, and sent him texts explaining exactly why our sister relationship has always been bad. She started professionally. "As Rebecca's sister and someone who cares about our family, I feel I must reach out." But soon, her real reasons showed. She told my husband he had a duty to help me act better because he was the new man in my life. Her text grew more condescending. "Family relationships are complicated," she told my husband, a skilled software designer with a business degree. She added that someone as sensitive as me might not see the big picture. She advised him to help me be reasonable before I permanently damage family ties. But her best move was trying to use what she thought was his desire to climb socially. She wrote, "Surely you see that staying close to successful family members like me could help your future? Rebecca's actions only hurt her chances and therefore yours." My husband has always seen through Moylan's act, so he found her trying to control him funny. He especially liked her assuming her job status or networking chances would impress him. In his words, "She really does not know me at all, does she?" When I got home that night, we read the texts together. I laughed with my husband instead of feeling hurt or mad. Seeing Moylan's sneaky tricks exposed, especially when aimed at someone immune to them, felt freeing. I learned something important about my sister from this. Despite all her wins, she is still that insecure teen who must put others down to feel better. It is obvious she knows little about healthy relationships if she thought she could control me by using my husband. When her direct way failed, she quickly tried to turn my husband against me. That was the most revealing part.
She did the same thing in high school. When she could not bully me directly, she tried to turn my friends against me. Different decade, same tricks. With this new view, I now see Moylan's actions were more than just sister fights. From a young age, she worked hard to stay the favorite child. She always told our parents and me how much better she was. She had to outshine anything I did. She had to point out my flaws to everyone, including my friends. I react to her games differently now. 10 years ago, her texts would have made me doubt myself. 5 years ago, they would have upset and hurt me. Today, I am just tired of the drama and find her obvious attempts to control me funny. My husband's reply was perfect. Instead of joining her drama, he just wrote, "Thank you for your concern about Rebecca's well-being. As her husband, I focus on supporting her happiness, not controlling her. I think you should talk to Rebecca directly about any future worries. Have a good day." After not getting the reply she wanted, Moylan sent one last text. "I see she has turned you against the family too. Do not say I did not try to help when this backfires on you both." Ironically, Moylan's attempt to help made me more sure I should stay away from my family's toxic patterns. Nothing has changed, as her texts to my husband show.
She is still the same sneaky person who needs to control every story and sees any change from her perfect family plan as a threat. The best part of this whole thing is knowing her attempts to persuade us completely failed. She brought my husband and me closer instead of driving us apart. We laughed at her texts and planned a weekend trip, not caring about her social threats. I now realize true family is not about keeping up false images or controlling stories. It is about standing together, laughing together, and supporting each other. When someone, even your sister, tries to control you, I am more sure than ever that staying away from Moylan's wedding drama is best. Instead of getting pulled into my family's endless fights, my husband and I decided to focus on making our own happiness. People say success is the best revenge, but I am learning real success is not about impressing others. It is about being happy with your choices and being with people who help you grow, not hold you back. By that measure, I feel more successful than ever. Third update. 2 weeks after my sister failed to control my husband, things took unexpected turns. The situation is getting worse. My parents are desperately trying to fix their reputation. I heard from family that my parents are frantically trying to change the story. They are calling each relative one by one and saying I am spreading awful lies because I am jealous of Moylan's perfect wedding. They claim I am just bitter since her wedding will be much fancier and prettier than mine. Their latest story is that I left them out of my wedding on purpose so I could play the victim. It is funny, they have lived in the same house for 30 years and had the same email since email began, but they claim I sent their invite to old addresses. The good news is their attempts to limit the damage are failing badly. Our relatives do not believe them. In fact, several family members had shared stories of my parents' favoritism. One aunt said my mother acted similarly at other family weddings, trying to make sure Moylan was the center of attention. The best part is how my extended family reacted to my parents' tricks. Key family members, some supposed to have big roles in the wedding, have stopped supporting Moylan's event. They might lose the special venue they got through family connections. Even a family friend's high-end dress shop suddenly has booking conflicts. At a family gathering last weekend, things hit a breaking point.
When someone innocently asked about my wedding photos, my mother got jealous and upset. She started an offensive rant about how marriage changed me and how I was trying to ruin the family. Her outburst backfired, shocking relatives who did not know the situation and hurting their good reputation further. It is especially ironic that my parents' desperate efforts to keep their perfect family image are why it is collapsing. Every time they try to explain skipping my wedding, they reveal more about their true selves. The more they try to make me look bad, the more people see their lies. Family members are taking sides after staying neutral. Recently, even my father's brother, who stayed quiet to keep peace, apologized for not speaking up sooner about how they treated me. He decided not to attend any of Moylan's wedding events with his family. I do not need to respond to any of this directly, so I have not. The truth is handling everything for me. Moylan and my parents keep showing more of their bad behavior when they try to change the story. It turns out that all those years I stayed quiet and endured their treatment to keep peace really just let them continue. My husband said it best. They built a fake, perfect family for years, but it was based on playing with feelings and favoritism. It was bound to crash eventually. Personally, I am better than ever. I no longer worry about winning my parents' approval. The stress of managing Molin's feelings is gone. I do not care about keeping their perfect family image. For the first time in my life, I see that sometimes the best revenge is just letting the truth speak, not fighting back.